Okay, so I needed a new truck recently, so I definitely found something used, and then I got lucky because it just happened to have a topper on it. It was my dad's old friend's truck that he took care of for a long time, so the topper wasn't in too bad condition, and I just started working on it to fix it up, and I wanted to do it as cheap as possible, and it worked out great for where I work and how much me and Paula go camping, and it just turned into a permanent little camping spot. So the first thing we wanted to do was get the bed set up. So I went out and got some 2x4s and watched other people on YouTube do similar setup to mine. I went with the full bed. Some people do half the bed and then do like a little shelf and stuff like that. But me and Paula decided to do the full bed and then keep our tools and stuff under. I probably spent about $50 on lumber and had some leftover material at my dad's shop to use the planks that go across the frame we were putting in, and bought a box of wood screws. Oh yeah, we're camping. This is nice, right?
We'll see.
Where are you gonna be? It's gonna be nice out. Why not?
Yeah.
We can camp literally on private property in the woods. No campers but us and Corbin. So one of the more expensive items was the plywood I had to lay across the bed frame. It was about $40. Price of wood went up recently, but it felt good getting a sheet of wood that would definitely hold us and be sturdy. I left it floating on there. I didn't screw anything to the frame itself because I wanted to be able to break it down when I needed to. I just put a little support at the end, like a little stud by the tailgate that holds that frame in. So as soon as we got the bed in, immediately we went camping, and the first thing we noticed is that the topper roof started to sweat pretty badly and drip in, and it rained, and there was a little puncture hole, looked like from a tool prior, that was like in the back of the bed, and rain leaked into that. So immediately I knew I had to seal it up and insulate it. So I went to Home Depot and got a piece of duck board that was like $10 and insulated the whole thing. I also bought a little can of spray glue, so I would just spray a little bit on the duck board and wait, and then stick it to the camper roof and hold it in with a little bit of tape so I can hurry up and get my cut for my wood once my insulation was in to start screwing to the frame at the top of the camper. I had some framing screws laying around, but they weren't flat-headed, so they had a little rounded tip on the top, so it stuck out a little bit from the wood that I screwed into my frame. But it saved me some money, and it got the job done just fine. The leftover wood from the 4 feet that we cut off from the bed frame that we put in there, we used for the wall paneling just to save some money, and we didn't have to go out and use all new material. So we just cut it up in pieces and screwed it over the insulation to the frame. It looked a little clubhouse style, a little rough, but the cabin-esque feels pretty good for us. Once I got the main section of the topper insulated and framed out, I went out and got some silicone, some clear silicone. It goes on white, but it dries clear. And just started, sealing up every crack I saw, every seal that I had around the frame. And it worked pretty good. And there's a big difference in it now with the insulation. There's no more leaks. There's no more sweat. There's still a little bit more woodwork to do and some sealing and some spray foam, but it came out pretty good. It'll clean up more once we put the liner on it, you know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, once you get ready.
I'm glad I knew about that gap.
Yeah, you see how...
When we went camping, I also noticed that the tail bed, you couldn't put anything down, no cups down, because there was, no flat surface, and when you sat down, it kind of hurt your butt, too. So I decided to put, a little piece of metal that I got from Home Depot to cut it up, but I ended up using a leftover piece of frame that my dad had at a shop that already had an arch, so it, looped over the back of the tailgate, and it went in just fine. Put those framing screws I used for the ceiling, and they had a few lumps on them, but it's a flat surface, it's hard, and it works out good. That leftover sheet metal that I had, I ended up finishing up the framework I had to do on the side of the topper. So I cut it up in small pieces and screwed it into the frame, and it worked out pretty good. It looks like a little rough, but a little touch up here and there, and it saved me a lot of money just using every single leftover piece that I had. That's fine right there, I think.
Yep.
All right. Rough, but at least it's patched up, you know. something, maybe a little piece of carpet on top so we're not slicing our stuff open. Pretty good. Overall, after all the work we did, it's a dramatic change, and it probably only cost me about $210 to completely insulate it, seal, frame, curtains, and like a few more items that we needed here and there, but it came out pretty good, and we've spent several nights in it already. And the next video I'll just show you how I keep everything inside of it, all my tools, entertainment, survival gear, and stuff like that. And thanks for checking it out.